Hey Happy Valley, I'm Brooke Steach, joined alongside by Zech Lambert and our third host Seth Engle for our final show of the semester. And we're here to bring you the weekly recap from Penn State and State College. Coming up today, Zech and Seth break down Penn State men's basketball new transfers and Penn State football capacity in the fall.
Then we have a special sit-down interview with former Daily Collegian Editor-in-Chief Maddie Aiken and new Daily Collegian Editor-in-Chief Jade Campos.
And make sure to stick around for a special musical performance by Canary.
But first, here are the latest headlines.
The regional vaccination clinic at the Bryce Jordan Center will continue distributing both the Moderna vaccine and the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. The vaccination clinic opened for appointments on Thursday and will also be open today from noon to 8 p.m., Saturday and Sunday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., and Monday from noon to 8 p.m.
Penn State is encouraging students to upload their coronavirus vaccine card through MyUHS after receiving their final dose. The vaccine is not required by Penn State, but the university encourages students to sign up and receive their first available vaccine.
After earning a first-round bye, Penn State men's soccer will take on UMass in the second round of the NCAA tournament. Kickoff time is set for 1 p.m. on Sunday in Greensboro, North Carolina.
Penn State Homecoming announced John Canary as the 2021 Homecoming Grand Marshal. Canary graduated from Penn State in 2003 and has starred in several home makeover shows on HGTV and on DIY Network. Coming up next, we'll have myself and Seth discuss Penn State men's basketball landing 2 new transfers and Sandy Barber's announcement that she expects 100% capacity in Beaver Stadium this fall.
In Penn State sports news, Penn State men's basketball has recently picked up 2 transfers to join Micah Shrewsbury's squad. Zech and Seth, what are your guys' thoughts about this? There's been a lot of changes recently within the roster the past couple of weeks.
Yeah, well, I think it's great that they're adding this backcourt depth. So they picked up 2 guards, and it really helps because they've lost a lot of guards to the transfer portal. Obviously, Jamari Wheeler, Myron Jones, and now Isaiah Brockington going back into the transfer portal. So their backcourt depth is really depleted. So to pick up these 2 transfers, good 3-point shooters too, it's going to be huge for Micah Shrewsbury's team next year. A team that, we talked about it. We didn't know how great they would be, but this kind of shooting and depth could be huge for them.
Yeah, well, Zech, you talk about 3-point shooting, and that's a thing where, Myron Jones was kind of that guy. Miles Dredd has been that guy for Penn State the past couple of years. Having another guy like Jaheim Cornwall, who shot 42% from 3 last season, that's a guy that you want on your basketball team. That doesn't matter if you're Big Ten or any other conference. So this is a guy I really think is going to make an immediate impact. Not sure if he'll start right away just because of the amount of point guards or just guards in general that this team consists of at this point. But this is definitely a guy who could step into a Sam Sessoms type of role where, starting some games and then maybe coming off the bench in others, but still having a pretty strong impact.
Yeah, and rebounding has been a point of emphasis too for this Nittany Lion team. And you look at Jalen Pickett, the other guy they picked up, he averaged 6 rebounds a game from the guard position last year. So that's a huge boost to the boards, especially when you're losing a big man that they had in Trent Buttrick to the transfer portal as well. So losing a big man but gaining a guard that can rebound like Jalen Pickett can, I think these are 2 great pickups for Penn State. And I'm interested to see what Micah Shrewsbury does for the remainder of the offseason too if they pick up anybody else.
Yeah, I agree with both of you, and I'm excited to see what these new players can bring to this almost like new squad, so say. And now to Penn State football news. Athletic Director Sandy Barber just announced via email sent to season ticket holders that Penn State is planning for full capacity at Beaver Stadium in the fall. So based on the past 2 spring final practices they just held, do you guys think that this is going to go smoothly?
Well, yeah, I do, because both spring practices happened, and I think that's the important part. Maybe, there were a lot of changes, but they both happened, and at the end of the day, that's the most important part. So getting fans in the stadium, it's already been done, and 100% might be a little ambitious, but I don't think she would come out and say it unless she was pretty confident that it would happen.
Yeah, and I think the big key word in this storyline is planning. I don't want any Penn State student or fan to really get their hopes up that there's definitely going to be 100% capacity, but the fact that there is a plan in place definitely shows some organization that they have right now heading into the summer. I also do agree with you with saying that the final spring practices did go smoothly with fans in attendance. I don't believe there were any COVID outbreaks the past 2 weekends. So yeah, this should be good news, but definitely, people should still, keep their heads up.
Yeah, and you look at other sports teams, not necessarily college football teams, but the Texas Rangers and MLB, they've already got 100% fans. And the Atlanta Braves also announced that they're going to be having 100% fans come May 7th. So we're seeing teams kind of transition back into this. And, I really don't think she would have said anything unless she was fairly certain, because to say that and then have to go back on it would be a really bad look. So if things go according to plan, which is a big if, I think it's looking promising for fans to be back in Beaver Stadium.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what kind of plan that they establish for the fall. Coming up next, we'll have 5 minutes with Seth Engle.
Welcome back to 5 minutes. It's like 60 minutes, but shorter. Today we're joined by Daily Collegian editors Maddie Aiken and Jade Campos. Maddie, Jade, how are you today?
Good.
I got the nice shirt on, so I hope you guys are prepared because this is an important interview.
We have our Taylor Swift cardigans on.
Very nice, very nice. So Maddie, editor-in-chief, now passing that on to Jade for next school year. Can you tell me a little bit about your experience this year, especially being editor-in-chief during a pandemic?
So it was really interesting. I think the main takeaway was that we couldn't really anticipate anything. I feel like things were really hectic. But I also think that we did a really good job reporting, editing. We changed things up a lot here, so that was cool. And I think that everybody had like a really good time here this year. I think it was almost like an escape from the pandemic because we were trying to operate as normally as possible.
Yeah, so obviously both of you have been in the office every day. I'm just wondering from you, Jade, can you describe a normal print night? Because I'm sure things can get a little hectic here, especially when people aren't having as much like interaction outside of school.
Yeah, I mean, I always, print night is the best night of the week, and I always try to encourage people to come into the office because, we have been pretty safe here. Everybody wears masks, and we check temperatures at the door, so everybody's following, coronavirus protocols, and so I've always felt safe here, but on print nights, the environment is just really chaotic and really fun. We're working on a deadline, so it's a lot of stress in the air, but I think that we have a really great group of people here, so the culture is just, really fun. So when you get all of those people in one room together, everyone's just having a good time. There's, loud music. People are making jokes all the time, but we're still working really diligently to, get things done on deadline, and sometimes that doesn't happen till 1 o'clock in the morning, but it happens.
Yeah, so you speak about kind of having a good time here in the office. Maddie, as the pandemic approached and you took over the role as editor-in-chief, how did you kind of plan to still have a good time with the staff, even though there were obviously some limitations?
So thinking back to when I actually entered the role, I was in State College, but obviously most people had gone home. So that was just it was an interesting vibe because essentially nothing was open except for the office. So the 10 of us who were here were coming in. And then we just really continued that over the summer. I felt really grateful that we do have a 25-person capacity here. So we do have the opportunity to bring people in. And I didn't want a COVID outbreak to happen and then we would have to work from home. So we really anticipated almost the worst. But then from there, I think, we just figured out what works best. So we have COVID protocols, and we have certain rules that weren't in place before. But for the most part, people can still come in here and hang out almost as they would before. And I think that's just because everybody's being responsible and everybody is just respecting that we all want to be here.
So obviously, a lot of people have kind of learned how to adjust through this whole pandemic. So from your experience, Jade, this whole adjustment period as an editor, how do you use what you've learned throughout the pandemic moving forward as editor-in-chief?
I think what it's shown me is that, obviously when all of this started, there was a lot of anxiety and worry that things just weren't going to go well, or everything that we knew before was going to go wrong, because we already had such a system in place that we'd been using for a long time. But I think what it shows is that we have like such a strong ability to adapt to changes and like work on the fly, and that like we can get good and strong reporting out like wherever we are, because like over the summer and like in last spring and even now we have reporters working remotely all the time. And so I think that moving forward, it just makes me enter the position with a lot of flexibility and a lot of understanding, because I can tell that like we have a really strong staff who's like really able to adjust to anything that we need.
And I think to just close it off, Maddie, do you have any tips for Jade moving forward?
I think be confident in your ability, because obviously you have the ability to do this job, but also like try to have fun every day, because that's what makes the job worth doing.
Perfect. Thank you so much for joining.
Hi, I'm Brooke Steach here with Hey Happy Valley, and we're here to start off our game show. I'm here with Sean, who is a sophomore. Now I'm going to ask you a multiple choice question about Penn State football this time, and there is a 30-second time limit as well. This should be a little bit easier multiple choice.
Okay.
So what year did Penn State football start playing in the Big Ten? 2000, 1995, or 1993?
I'm going to go big 1995. That was a good year.
And that is unfortunately not correct. It was 1993, but we'll still give you a prize too. So thank you for playing.
Thank you so much.
Welcome back into the Collegian office. I'm Zech Lambert, and my pick of the week is Falcon and Winter Soldier. So it's a 6-episode miniseries on Disney Plus, and the action in it is really good. There are a lot of great scenes, and the finale is also really good. But my main issue with it is that it's a little corny. There are a lot of text messages in it that people receive from a contact listed as unknown that say, like, I will kill you. And the main agenda of the villain group, the Flag Smashers, is also slightly corny. There's a little bit of predictability in how the relationship between Bucky and Sam ends, but overall, it's still a really good show. The corniness and predictability is masked by the action, which I really can't emphasize enough how great it is. And since it is only a 6-episode series, it's definitely worth your time to check it out if you haven't. That's all for this semester's episodes of Hey Happy Valley. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel for more content.
And finally, to wrap up the show, we have a special musical performance by Canary.
1, 2, 3, 4.
It's like you're singing when you speak. Oh, you don't ever want to go home, lie here on the beach. Oh, every day's a dream and nothing changes. The sun sets so slow. The people walk by on crowded sidewalks below. Fall so slowly, let you hold me so. Save me just a little. Hold my hand. Won't you love me while you dance soft and sweet? Meet me in the middle on my cheek. Won't you love me while you can? Won't you love me while you can? You're talking in your sleep. Moonshine on a city of stars, caught between the cars. Oh, you're frozen in time and nothing changes. The jukebox plays on. You can't help but dance because it's your favorite song. Falling slowly, let you hold me so. Save me just a little. Hold my hand. Won't you love me?
Thank you.
Great, that was fun.
That was fun.